Our whole season comes down to this race from Homestead, Miami, Florida, where we enter 23 points below the cut line, and at the end of today we will know the 4 drivers that will fight for a championship in Season 3 of this NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. We've got a brand new Gatorade, Florida Gators inspired paint scheme on the car this weekend thanks to DMoney. Chastain comes into this race below the cut line as well, 18 points back, the first one out. Chase Elliott, the second one out, 21 points below the cut line, and Ryan Blaney, 47 points out. He has a steep hill to climb and is in a must-win scenario. We are 23 points below, while William Byron is the only one that enters truly safe. He won the first race of this round at Dover and punched his ticket into the Final Four. Christopher Bell enters 30 points above the cut line. Our other teammate alongside him, Ty Gibbs, 23 points above the cut line, and Kyle Larson, after a rough night in Darlington, 18 points above the cut line. Hello everybody, and welcome to what could be maybe the biggest episode in terms of importance to, of course, a career moment for us in dictating if we're going to make it into the Final Four or not. And it's going to be an interesting one, and I hope you guys are having a great day, and I hope you guys are ready to sit down and watch this episode here now, because although the point gaps are a bit large, we know anything can happen in these 35% length races. Now, we've seen Chase Elliott enter well below the cut line in the last round of the playoffs, and in the Charlotte Roval had a great top 5 performance, got himself into this round. Can he do it again? We have been in perfect shape all playoff long until this round right here. 2 terrible races have put our back against the wall, and we have to find a way to make up 23 points or win this race. It starts with a good qualifying run, and we start our qualifying run with a goal of a 32.841. As I'm going to run the wall a lot in the race, but in qualifying you want to get down towards the inside, glide up the track, open up the steering wheel on the exit of turn 2 there, get against the wall down this back stretch into turn 3. You want to do the same thing, get it as low as you can right against that white line. I was a little bit off, maybe by a foot, but we glide back up the racetrack, open up the wheel one more time right up against the outside wall, down this front straightaway to the line. It was a pretty solid lap, a 32.211, 0.6 of a second above the goal, and that puts us row 6 inside line, P11, which is a very solid starting position, while Denny Hamlin on pole after getting his first win of the season in his final full-time season of Cup Series competition in Darlington. Elliott starts 4th, Busch 5th, Larson P6, some big names there, of course. Christopher Bell, our teammate, just behind us. Ty Gibbs a little further behind as you see the rest of the starting order. We're set to determine the Final Four for the Cup Series, but Truck Series, Xfinity Series, same situation. This weekend we saw Ty Majeski win in the Truck Series, holding off Timmy Hill, actually, who was in the threat for a race victory, as you'll see the rest of the finishing order on your screen. But making the Final Four in the Truck Series was Matt Mills, Lane Riggs, Caden Honeycutt, as well as Ty Majeski, who picked up the win there. On the Xfinity side of things, Ryan Vargas again taking an underfunded car to its 3rd win of the season and putting him into the Final Four as he held off Chase Purdy and Jesse Love. Connor Zilisch getting a top 5. Rajah Caruth again with a heck of an effort. He has been really impressive in recent weeks. In the Final Four for the Xfinity Series will be Ryan Vargas going up against Brandon Jones, Jesse Love, and William Sawalich. Now, as Sawalich enters as the clear favorite. But now, most importantly, let's determine the Final Four in the Cup Series from Miami.
You might be wondering what makes this race so important. Today we'll determine the 4 drivers who will have a chance to fight for a championship next weekend in Las Vegas.
2 title favorites below the cut line as well. We have both Owen and Elliott coming in with a lot of work to do. Both of them have been so strong on this type of track, so never say never.
All it takes is one caution as well for everything to change, guys. Lots of points to be made up for the guys below the line, but anything can happen.
Right, James, 23 points below the cut line. What's the idea here?
We're going to let stage 1 play out normally, then we will go from there. Run your pace.
Our crew chief, James Small, says, okay, we're going to let stage 1 play out, do the normal thing, run your pace, and we'll kind of reassess the situation from that point on. Just like last episode, we will have live playoff updates coming at the end of each stage here. Now, Alex Bowman for Colleague Racing going to the back of the field. Of course, future Richard Childress Racing driver Alex Bowman, that is. Chris Buescher went to the back as well, gave up qualifying position for a brand new set of Goodyear tires. We're ready to go racing. That advances us up into one spot due to the 17 going to the back. So P10 alongside our future teammate Chandler Smith for next season, who joins Joe Gibbs Racing. We are racing here from Homestead, Miami now on the run towards turn number 1. Nearly 100 laps just shy of racing from Miami. As we go through this first and opening corner, you see a new scheme on the 45 there. That was actually whipped up by Tyler Tinsley, the white and black Jordan branded car. We've seen that scheme in real life. I think it's based off of similar to the Talladega winning scheme Reddick had IRL this season. Looks absolutely fantastic either way. Now, as you're going to see cars fanning out multi-lanes right now, Denny Hamlin's already lost the lead, and to the lead goes Keselowski. How about Ryan Blaney at my inside, immediately showcasing some good pace through 3 and 4, but look at the run we have as he's caught up behind the 45 as we enter turn number 1. 27 laps of racing in stage number 1, and stage 1 is we're not taking really any risks. You know, if there's an awkward time caution, we're going to do what the majority does here. Stage 2 is where it's time to get creative. Stage 3 as well. 23 points below the cut line. It's still possible to get into the final 4, pointing our way in. But it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy for anybody below the cut line, but Chastain has the easiest job. He enters in the best situation, of course, as he is the first one out, 18 points below the cut line. But we're just going to let stage 1 play out and reassess from that point on and get a little bit more deep into the situation. Now, as you can see, cars going backwards. Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano as well. Kyle Larson's on the inside of his Hendrick teammate of William Byron, as Larson looks to go back-to-back championships this season. A 2-time Cup Series champion, won the championship last season, trying to do it again this season. He was so strong in the last round of the playoffs. Didn't go to victory lane. Only 2 wins still on the season for that number 5. As you can see, we haven't really gone anywhere. We run P9, just kind of running the wall, just kind of getting comfortable as Keselowski continues to lead the way. But on lap 6 through 1 and 2, actually getting my first little wall tap, and that was kind of the immediate wake-up call, like, okay, we don't need to be pushing that hard or that aggressive early on. Let's just settle down and get into the groove and run what we need to run here. So I had that moment and I corrected it immediately instead of trying to force it. So we got back actually to the inside line and said, okay, let's just let things kind of develop and play out as we're putting some pressure on the back of that Valvoline Chevrolet of William Byron. Chastain side by side with Joey Logano. Every point is so important here in this first stage and second stage, of course, given our scenario, and it doesn't help when you have Larson, Bell, and Gibbs all outscoring us right now. Trouble already early in this race. Carson Hocevar into the outside wall, future driver for the new junior motorsports team entering the Cup Series next season, and immediately we see Chase Elliott 21 points below the cut line going for a bold call, and a few others electing as well to come into the pit lane. LaJoy as well pits. We do, like I said, the safe route, what the majority does, and we stay out. Now, by pitting, you can make it to the end of the stage without any issues on feel. By staying out, it's close, and I think a lot of people were recognizing that. We have 11 laps of feel, but there's 15 to go, so we're actually short by 4 laps, so we're all kind of banking on another caution coming out before the end of stage 1. If you pitted, you're banking on, okay, we're going to see no cautions here, it's going to stay green, but we've seen 1 tire failure in the first 10 laps, now we have to go 15. What is going to happen here now? Chase Elliott might have an opportunity to steal some stage points here that he might not have picked up if he had stayed out, so we'll see what happens now. I kind of wish I made that call if it ends up working out. If a caution comes out, it completely ruins that strategy. As we get into the back of the 22, dive it up the inside of Bubba Wallace, 3 wide. Bubba Wallace still looking for his first win of this third season of the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. He had that 1 win last season from Atlanta Motor Speedway. He kind of looked into that one now, but we'll see what he he can do here today from Miami. Looks like he's got some decent speed under the hood of that number 23 Money Lion Toyota Camry early on in this race, as I'm still 3 wide on the inside, rolling through 3. My teammate of Christopher Bell on the far outside. He's the highest driver above the cut line as he wants to fight for a championship next episode from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and we're still 3 wide, getting pinched down, but Ryan Blaney is out in front. The number 12, who's in a must-win scenario, finds himself leading this race, and that adds on to the pressure for not only myself, but for anybody that's above the cut line in this race, and we're already into stage 1, seeing some developments here, and look at the speed out of that 23. Wallace split the middle between myself and Byron, and through he went to P7. Kozlowski, though, is retaking the lead, but it looks like he's swamping back and forth with Ryan Blaney as they can't make up their minds of who's going to go and take control of this race early on. 10 laps to go in stage 1, and you can see the gap to 7th and beyond. We are ways behind at this point now, and I didn't really feel like I had much more than this, and now it's starting to become apparent. I don't think that caution's coming, and we might all be pitting under green flag conditions, while Chase Elliott, Eric Jones, a few others as well, are going to have the ability to stay on the racetrack and potentially win the stage and whatnot here, as my fuel light now comes on, coming to the end of lap 22, so that tells you everything you need to know. We're going to have to pit as we have now driven away from the cars from behind, but 1 lap estimated to fuel. Everybody's going to be pitting right here. I'm not going to push it another lap because I think I would run out before we get to the pit lane, so we're going to come in as well, follow everybody into the pits. Blaney leads us in. I'm quite cautious there, trying to make sure we avoid any form of penalty, especially when we're going to lose a lap here due to Chase Elliott and a few others staying on the racetrack due to their pit stops. Now 4 tires, and it's actually a competitive pit stop. We come out behind the 23, but we're in front of the 5 of Kyle Larson. But the question is, are we going to be in a position to score stage points? If we don't, then beating the 5 right here does not matter, but it would set us up decently for stage number 2. Eric Jones leads the way. He had a heck of a run going in Darlington, a very competitive effort for the number 43. Jones sounds like maybe his future at Legacy Motor Club is pretty short-lived, as in it might be his final race with the team as soon as next episode, as a caution comes out, and after the pit cycle completed, we were P11, and it ends the stage, and it's actually due to the 9, Chase Elliott, smoke pouring out of the hood of that number 9, and he was scored P3, which means 8 points to his name. Chastain in 7th scores 4. Blaney doesn't really matter how much points he gets, but every car there that was, of course, on the racetrack had to pit, which means everybody cycles back around to the lead lap, and Chase Elliott is still in the race. So whatever brought out that caution under the hood of the number 9, they were able to get fixed and keep him on his lead lap, keep his track position as well. And on top of that, looking at him getting a good chunk of points, Chastain as well, we get no stage points, does not help our situation at all. And you see the aggression, but as well, you see, well, we're going to get aggressive ourselves, the live points update. So we're still 23 points below. Blaney now 44 points back after picking up a few stage points. What could have been for him? He was on track to win the stage, and you can see now Chase Elliott 13 points out, Chastain 14 points out. The pressure builds on Larson and Gibbs, who were 13 and 18 points above the cut line respectively. Bell 25 points at the top of the board, 4 wide into turn number 1. We know we got to get aggressive after seeing the 9 and the 1 score more points than us there, as we're going to try and clear them all on the exit of turn 2. Ty Gibbs as well in his Craftsman Toyota Camry into the mix as we head down this back straightaway, passing the 9. Bubba Wallace continues to move his way forward. That number 23 is going to be a threat, but who else is going to be a threat? That number 1 of Ross Chastain into second behind the race leader and stage 1 winner of Eric Jones. But again, Bubba Wallace through the middle. That's the second time he's done that on us. But Ryan Blaney, one of Wallace's, of course, best friends, following through. Moments later, we drop down to P6, just in front of the nose of the Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet of Chase Elliott here, as now we go to the outside in 1 and 2, and it's still Jones, Chastain, Kozlowski, your top 3, but Bubba Wallace is joining the fight. He might be a threat to win today, but will Ryan Blaney be a threat as well, as we're now in a side-by-side battle with this number 9, and Elliott would clear me, and here comes Kyle Busch, who had the fastest car of anybody last episode in Darlington, just ran out of laps to pick up a win and what could be his first winless season of NASCAR Cup Series competition, unless he finds a win today or in the next episode. And now, new leader 23-11's Bubba Wallace to the point in Homestead, Miami. It's been over a season since he's picked up a race victory. This has been a season almost like real life where we have seen winless streaks ended. Keselowski, could it be Bubba Wallace today? Denny Hamlin did it in what was over a season as well, but a few other names have been able to end some winless streaks now as we dive to the inside of the 9 of Chase Elliott, and we know this number 9 is not going to make it easy. We have had some fierce battles with the 9, including last episode, using him up, leaning on him even, running him out of the groove, and that certainly cost him some points in the long run, and now he knows he's fighting directly against me for some crucial points, but right now he has a 10-point advantage on myself starting stage number 2, but it's not going to be an easy battle, and you're seeing we're costing each other time trying to complete this overtake. I recognize the situation, so I'm not going to bother, getting upset or making a comment on it, complaining about it. I understand fully why Chase Elliott's racing the way he's racing right now, as here comes Ty Gibbs back into the mix, and what we don't want to see is the 54 and the 5 running in the top 10, and they're both doing that right now. They're 9th and 10th, so and not good for us and trying to make it into the final 4, and this is putting us basically into a must-win scenario right now. We never know, could see something shake things up. Sometimes all it takes is one badly timed caution during a pit cycle to completely throw a race up and over. That could happen today. Unlikely, we haven't seen it in a bit, but it has happened a time or two this season. But Ty Gibbs is on his way forward. He passes me. I just didn't have enough for him, and now he passes Chase Elliott as well. He's up into P7, but we're to the back of the 9 again. Round 2-1, trying to make a clean pass on this 9. I don't want to use him up early in this race, especially with the history we have, but into turn 1, I'm going to at least sail it up the track there, slide across his nose, shut off the clean air to that number 9, and we take P8, and now we can try to run away, but we need to as well work on passing that 54. We need to be gaining points on either the 54 or the 5, because if Elliott maybe finds a way to gain enough points, or Chastain, well then the 5 and the 54, they're in a battle as well to be the last one in, but if they have trouble, we could maybe beat one of them in as well. There's so many different scenarios right now that can happen. Let's just try to keep it simple here now as we're trying to gain as many positions as we can and just run the rest of this race the best we can as we pass the 43 of Eric Jones, and it's still Bubba Wallace out in front and driving away. Chastain maintains P2. Ryan Blaney currently in 3rd, not even 2nd. We'll cut it for the 12 today. He has to find a way to win this race as we're alongside Gibbs into turn 3. A green stage 2 so far through the first 17 laps, and now 18 as we continue in the side-by-side battle with this Craftsman Toyota Camry. Now one of us trying to make it into that final 4 now in our 3rd season of full-time competition, leaning on the door of the 54 a little bit. Neither of us have been in the final 4 before. Gibbs hasn't even been in the playoffs. He missed it in first 2 seasons of his Cup Series career, and now his first playoff run, he might have a chance to win a championship with 4 wins on the season as well. Both myself and Gibbs in our 3rd seasons of our full-time Cup Series career, and we have gone back and forth as teammates on wins this season. We've had battles in our rookie season to be the one that made it into the playoffs over each other. We have history, but as teammates we work together but lean on each other a little bit now as the fuel light is on, but the call from James Small is to stay out.
One more lap here. We need to try something.
You hear it there. We need to try something. Elliott, same situation, understandably. Of course, Chastain pitted a lap earlier there, which was a bit surprising, but basically staying out 1 lap longer, just hoping that we maybe get a miracle caution. A miracle caution is what we need, and we're going to come into the pits here and see what happens. Eric Jones, I don't know how he has enough fuel to go 1 more lap. That's a bit surprising, but we're going to come in and actually change our tape from 35% to 50% on the grill. We'll come in for the 4 tires, once again, fill it up on feel, and just hope a caution comes out in this sequence. Around Hocevar goes for the 2nd time today, and that's going to do it. A big impact there from Kyle Busch as well, and the caution is gonna fly here from Homestead, Miami. It's a miracle, as now that is going to completely screw over anybody that pitted on the lap before, including 3 drivers above the cut line. Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, and Ty Gibbs all pitted on that last lap. They are going to be trapped 1 lap down, and we'll see, as because we don't have to pit, we stayed on the lead lap, that means that they cannot get the lap back. Bubba Wallace is the first 1 lap down. He gets the free pass, but you see that Larson, Gibbs, and Bell as well, they're all in the mid-teens basically. I scrolled really fast, but they're running in the mid-teens and they cannot get their lap back. They're all stuck 1 lap down, racing for the free pass. We're now P2, front row, as we get ready to go back racing alongside Eric Jones. We're once again underway with 4 laps to go in stage 2, and suddenly we've been propelled into an opportunity to now fight for a stage win, get 10 points, 8 points, 9 points, anywhere in the top 3. But Chase Elliott as well is the biggest problem to this, because he is above us in the points, and he gained those points in stage 1, of course, by doing the different strategy call. Ross Chastain was doing the same thing here in stage 2, doing a great job running second, but he's also trapped a lap down, so he can be eliminated from this equation as we exit turn 4. But we can score a lot of points, but we're going to have to beat both the 5 and the 54 on points if Chase Elliott picks up enough points to get into the final 4 over his teammate of Kyle Larson or the 54 of Ty Gibbs. So we'll wait and see what things look like at the end of stage 2 here in a few laps time, but we need to be fighting as hard as we can here now to the back of the 9. He leaves the outside open, we take it, we show the nose. Jones runs the middle, Elliott to the inside, didn't quite materialize there, but 2 to go through 1 and 2. It's a 3-car runaway from everybody else. That's a bunch of slower cars in front of everybody back there, but they're side by side for the lead. We need these points. Diving 3 wide to the inside into turn 3, approaching the final lap of stage number 2, but trying to keep it clean and respectful, leaning on the 9 but leaving the space there, not making contact. We can't get the open wheel, of course, on the exit of turn 4, so we just get such a shallow exit. 1 to go in stage 2. Jones clears both myself and the 9 of Elliott, but he runs the top again. Elliott the inside. I'm going to stay in line with the Snappa Auto Parts Chevrolet and wait for an opportunity on the exit of turn 2, and the opportunity's right there. To the inside again, 3 wide down this back straightaway, looking for every point possible as we roll through 3 and 4. Who's going to get back to the line first for the 10 points as we're drag racing through the center of the corner, and on the exit of 4, the 43 has run. We're all dead even. Chase Elliott gets the stage win. It's P3 for us in the 19. And things are changing quickly. Nobody in the top 3 above the cutoff, of course Gibbs, Larson, or Bell, are able to score points. 10 points for Chase Elliott, 8 points for myself. This is going to make things interesting, and Ryan Blaney gets the free pass. That's huge, because we know he has a car capable of winning this race potentially, which could completely change everything from that point on as well. No position shuffle in the top 10, at least in the pit lane, so 4 tires. We exit P3 behind the 9 of Chase Elliott, and now after stage 2, and that caution changing everything as we look on from the pit box, James Small's point of view in towards turn 1, you see the live playoff update one more time. Ryan Blaney has to win. Simple. We enter 14 points, or 15 points, sorry. We're 15 points below the cut line. Chastain 14 back, but he's stuck a lap down. Chase Elliott is only 3 points behind, and as they run, he will knock out Kyle Larson. What a turn of events there. Larson so good in this round. In the last round, he had a bit of a poor Darlington, but it was enough to keep him above the cut line, but it's going to come down to 1 caution, maybe ruining the season for the number 5. Gibbs only 8 points above the cut line, and Bell now only 15. Anything can still happen here, including us getting into the final 4, but the way it's going to be done as it runs right now, Elliott will make the final 4, but we have to beat Kyle Larson on points, but we also have to beat Ty Gibbs or Christopher Bell on points now, as we are racing hard for the lead of this race. We're 3 wide as the racing has been absolutely fantastic, and you're seeing another 3-car runaway at this point in time. The question is, who's going to get the free pass? We know there's certainly going to be another caution, at least one more before this race is over, but Eric Jones to the lead of this event now as we're side by side with Elliott, who stacks up a little bit down this backstretch. We'll clear him hopefully into turn 3. Yes, we will, alongside Eric Jones. Now we're racing hard for the lead of this race. Now we didn't expect to be in this position, but with the way things are, we still might find ourselves in a must-win scenario. 14 or 15 points below the cut line, and if we can maybe get more points than Larson, it won't matter because Gibbs has 5 more points than the number 5. We still might find ourselves in a must-win scenario late in this race to knock them out, as Bubba Wallace has run us down and has made it a 4-car party. We clear the 9, and I can tell you as we slide up the track, though, it's going to open up the door for the 9, but I tell you, we are certainly hoping we don't find ourselves in a situation where our only option is to win in the final 10 laps, because if I have to pass that 23 car, good luck, because look at him go. To the lead again goes Bubba Wallace in the number 23 Moneyline Toyota Camry as we drift back to 4th behind Elliott, but the battle with him, it's been fierce all day long. It's been respectful. We have used him up a few times this season, but I've been keeping it as clean as possible today, and the car behind us is not for position in 5th. No, it's the free pass of Brad Keselowski, who's in position to get awarded that lead lap position back as we clear the 9. Back into 3rd as this run continues to get longer. Our car seems to be coming in a little bit, and we're running down the 43. But we're not running down the 23 of Bubba Wallace. He continues to, at the bare minimum, maintain the margin to myself of just over a second or pull away even further. And certainly the tension, the patience is running out, the tension's building, and the concern is definitely getting higher, as well as we know we're running out of time to make things happen right now, but we're really not able to get an idea of what we need to do, what the situation is, until maybe in the final 10 to 15 laps. So, and basically when we get to lap about 80, we'll really understand, I think, what the situation is that we're presented with, as Keselowski continues to run faster than us as well. But Bubba Wallace is long gone. Nobody has anything for the 2311 driver now. He's in position to get his first win of the season. Elliott is drifting back, and I have run down the 43. Ryan Blaney as well has actually worked his way with the free pass up through the field into 5th position, but he is ways behind. Crash in turn 3, it's a 31. Former teammate of AJ Allmendinger crashes hard at the outside wall. A few cars collected. John Hunter Nemechek, Austin Hill there as well, and that is going to spice it up. We're all going to pit for 4 tires, but there you see Larson right now 15th, Bell 16th, Gibbs in 20th. In that situation, if they finished exactly like that, Larson would tie with Gibbs, and I really don't know who would get the tiebreaker for the last spot, and me finishing second simply would not be enough. The expectation, however, is not good. I think both Larson and Gibbs are going to be able to work their way further forward before this race is over. So basically, if we finish the way it was right now, P2, and they were 15th for Larson and 20th for Gibbs, well, we still don't make it in. We don't have enough points, and we just barely lose out. It's not by much, but we need to basically now go into the must-win scenario mentality, and that's the mentality Ryan Blaney and that 12 Penske team started this race with, and they are putting it to use now. On this restart through turn 3, they are back into the mix because of that caution, closing them back up, of course, with the rest of the field. He had to start at the tail end of the longest line at the start of stage 3 with that caution. Brad Keselowski was able to get the free pass, so we don't have to worry about any other playoff guys around us, like Chastain getting that free pass right now, because we know we're pretty well dead even on points with him. We're 1 point behind him, actually. He's 14 out. We are 15 points out right now, but Ryan Blaney is marching forward into second. We know he and Bubba Wallace have been the fast cars so far, and I know this is certainly a worst case scenario for myself in this race. Of course, not a worst case scenario like Darlington was, but now into turn 1, trying to clear this 43. We need to make quick work of it. We're going to get aggressive. Chop the nose. Up the track we go. That's going to leave the door open for him to try and fight back on the exit of 2 down the SPAC straightaway, but we're going to take that forward momentum and clear him, who now Jones has the inside filled by the 9 of Chase Elliott, but we're going to get down in front of that 9 as well. But again, sliding up the track, here comes the 9. Not going to make it easy, but Chase Elliott, he only needs 4 positions to beat Kyle Larson by, and he's doing exactly that right now. He is currently in the final 4, while Kyle Larson is out. 1 caution in stage 2, awkwardly timed, changes everything, as now Elliott, well, he was in a situation in his playoff where he won the first race of the playoffs in Atlanta, got himself into the final 4, or sorry, not into the final 4, into the next round, but then he was going into the end of the round of 12, and he was out below the cut line, and he got in with a good run, but Denny Hamlin into the outside wall crashes, and now it's time to make a decision.
Okay, mate, do you think you can win in this current situation?
No, not a chance. The 23 and the 12, they're too fast.
Okay, we have the option to pit here, 4 fresh tyres. We'll only be down to 13th. If you can make quick work, it would be your best shot to win.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, we have to win, and we need to try something.
Okay, just to remind you, you must win to advance currently. It is unlikely to change. Go get it.
We had to try something. It was our only option. Well, it worked. 4 fresh tires. We give up our track position, but now we have an advantage. 11 laps to go. We have to make quick work of some of these slower cars. Larson, Bell, Gibbs are all right here together behind us, and they're not going to go backwards. They have top 10 cars. They're going to stay at the front end of the one lap down situation, which means we're not going to gain enough points to get in. One of them has to crash. That's the only way it's going to work out. Larson could still get in over Gibbs if he beats him by 6 positions. I don't think that's going to happen now, as we are getting aggressive and we're gaining track position into 8th place now as we close in on the back of Rookie of the Year contender of Zane Smith in the turn 1, and I'm looking behind me and Ty Gibbs has passed Kyle Larson. He's used the inside to his advantage while Larson's been on the top, and that basically puts Larson in a situation where he is not going to advance into the final 4 unless Chase Elliott has something go wrong. What a turn of events for the number 5 and one of the favorites for the championship, as now, of course, I consider myself the favorite for the championship. 5 wins on the season, more than anybody, and we're at risk of being out, but we're putting the 4 tires to work. Into 5th place, lap 85 of 93, and now you see up ahead it's Wallace and Blaney. Ryan Blaney understands the situation. He has to win. Chase Elliott understands he doesn't have to do anything right now to get in, but if Ryan Blaney wins, Chase Elliott now needs to have more points than the 5 and the 54 if he wants to get in, and that might be a little bit of a different story, but Blaney's to the inside of the 23 looking for the lead, while we are to the back of the 9 and the 43, needing to go as quick as we can, use the advantage while we have it, because it is going to run out, as we are only about 5% of a better tire than the rest of the field, so it's not an advantage that's going to be lasting, as if we maybe pitted 10 to 15 laps after everybody. We passed the 9 on lap 88 into turn 1. We're going to get right on the door of the 43 and we clear him with ease on the exit of turn 2, and now our sights are set on the 12 and the 23. The situation hasn't changed. Finishing second will not be enough points to make it into the final 4. We have to win this race. Ryan Blaney, if he wins, completely changes everything at this point as well. What a story it would be. Now, last season, of course, missed half the season due to concussion, was not in the playoffs, but of course this season it's been a heck of a season of consistency for the 12, but we're running out of time and it looks like our advantage has run out as well. Wallace continues to lead, but Ryan Blaney is keeping him honest. Bubba now coming to 3 to go, runs a lane lower than the 12, who goes right up against the outside wall, loses a bit of time to the number 23, but we're struggling to gain ground here. We're gaining just little bits at a time, but time is running out quickly. 2 laps to go is what we're coming up on. Wallace against the wall now. The 12 goes down a car width. Can Ryan Blaney pull this off? 2 laps to go, and we're not going to get there. We need a caution. We need something to happen. We need these two to get side by side. Something, or it's not going to happen. Down into turn 3. Wallace covers the 12. This time throws the dirty air on the nose, but of course that's not really a thing in Heat 5. You can follow wherever you want as we exit turn 4. It's not going to be enough. White flag in the air. The reality is, unless the 5 or the 54 or the 20 have something catastrophic happen on this final lap, we will not make the final 4. Ryan Blaney has a chance, however, to create his own destiny. Now, the real-life champion from 2023 is still no champion in our Heat 5 career mode, trying to change it with a win. As Wallace leads, Blaney shows the nose. Is there anything in it? Wallace to the top. Blaney runs lower than he has in any of the previous laps. They're going to be side by side. Blaney trying to get a berth into the championship 4. Wallace is going to hang on the exit of turn 4 with the momentum. Wallace wins. Second for Blaney. Third for us. And we're out of the playoffs. I'm so sorry, guys. You guys gave it everything. I just want to thank you all for the heck of a season. It just wasn't meant to be. We're going to come back next year, and we're going to get these guys, and we're going to win a championship. Absolutely heartbreaking. As you do see the finishing order on your screen, and you know, Larson and them and Bell, and Gibbs 15th, 16th, 17th, which means Larson is out. What a change of events, and what a heartbreak for us. To say the absolute minimum, I felt like we were the favorite. We had everything working for us all playoff long, and 2 bad races in the worst time to have it, of course, in the round of 8 is what took us out. At the end of the day, it is what it is. It's playoff racing. It's NASCAR. That's the way it is. In the final 4 now will be William Byron, Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott again, who faced elimination and found a way, Ty Gibbs as well, who has a chance to win his first championship. But while the odds are we will see a first-time champion, Elliott the only champion in the final 4 from 2020. Larson misses it by 7 points. We miss it by 8 points. If Elliott didn't have the day he did, we would have had a chance to get into that final 4 over Larson. Chastain and Blaney, of course, out as well. Heartbreaking, It is what it is. We gave it our all every race. We made some mistakes along the way, and now we face the true consequence of the heartbreak of missing the Final Four for the 3rd consecutive season. But we have learned a lot, I think, in this playoff run. And now see you guys in the next episode for the season finale, where we crown the Season 3 NASCAR Cup Series champion.